We first look at question 5, and this is from the November 2020 question paper. And the average that students scored for this question was 45%. The question gives us the graph of fx equal to 3 to the power of minus x. A is the y-intercept of f, B is the point of intersection of f, and the line y equals 9. Before you look at the questions that follow, first look at the graph and identify what you can from this graph. First of all, this is an exponential graph. It is a decreasing graph. The y-intercept was given to us, that's the point A, and the point B was also given to us as the point of intersection of f, and the line y equals 9. Another thing that is of importance when you look at the question is to try and identify the asymptote of this graph. Remember, the asymptote is the horizontal line in this case that the graph will move towards but will never intersect. So in this case, that is the line y equals 0 or the x-axis. Now let's look at question 5.1. We are now going to discuss questions 5.1 to 5.3. In question 5.1, students scored an average of 85%, so that was not too difficult. Question 5.2, they scored 77%, and then in question 5.3, they scored 34%. So make sure that you understand question 5.3. Let's begin. Let's look at this question. Here they ask at 5.1, write down the coordinates of A. Now, first of all, you need to identify what A is of this exponential graph. And as you can see, A lies on the y-axis, and that means A is the y-intercept of the graph F. And what happens at a y-intercept? At the y-intercept, x is always equal to 0. So you take the equation of fx is 3 to the power of minus x, and you make x equal to 0 in the equation. And when you solve the equation, it gives you that y's value is 1. So the coordinates of A is 0 and 1. This question counted 1 mark, and you get 1 mark for the final answer, the coordinates of A. Let's look at 5.2. Determine the coordinates of B. So let's look at this sketch. There you have B, and B is the intercept of this exponential function f and the line y equals 9. Remember, horizontal line is always y equal to. And then in the equation of f, we make y equal to 9. So we get then that 9 is equal to 3 to the power of minus x, and this is an exponential equation that we need to solve. So we need to make the bases of both sides of the equation the same. So we can write 9 as 3 to the power of 2. Then we have 3 to the power of 2 is equal to 3 to the power of negative x. And if the bases are the same, we can then say that the exponents are equal. So that means x is equal to negative 2. And now we need to write down the coordinates of B as it is asked in the question. So B's coordinates is then negative 2 and 9. Let's look at the mark allocation. You get 1 mark for equating 9 and 3 to the power of minus x. 1 mark for changing 9 to 3 squared, and then 1 mark for x equals negative 2. Let's look at question 5.3. Here they say write down the domain of f inverse. Now, first question, what is domain? Domain is all the x values of this function. And remember that inverse function's domain will correspond to the range of the original function. So let's first look at this function f and determine the range of the function. That's all the y values. So the y values of this function f will be all y values from 0 to infinity. But 0 is not included because 0 is a horizontal asymptote. So the range for the function f will be 0 to infinity. And then the domain of the inverse will be similar to this. Remember, with a function and the inverse, the x and the y values swap. So we can then write that the domain of the function f inverse is all the x values from 0 to infinity. And we can write it in two ways. We can say x is an element of 0 to infinity. And please note the round brackets. The round bracket on the left shows that 0 is not included. And the round bracket at the right shows that infinity is not included. And infinity is never included. And then another way that you can write it is, you can also say all x values bigger than 0, where x is an element of real numbers. Let's look at the mark allocation. For this question, you get 2 marks for the final answer. In question 5.1, some students swapped the coordinates and gave the answer as 1, 0. So be careful when you write down the coordinates that you put 0 at the x coordinate and 1 at the y coordinate. Then question 5.2, some candidates wrote 9 as 3 to the power of 3. So make sure 9 is equal to 3 to the power of 2. Then, when solving the exponential equation, some students divided by 3. So remember, when solving exponential equations, you have to make the bases the same. You can't divide by the base. Then, in question 5.3, a lot of students determined the domain of f instead of f inverse. And they also gave the answer as y element of 0 to infinity. So remember that all the x variables of f change to y in the inverse, but the domain of the inverse is still the set of x values. So be careful for that one. And then when you write down the domain and you use interval notation, make sure to use the correct brackets. Let's discuss question 5.4 and 5.5. Question 5.4, students scored an average of 11%. So make sure that you understand this question. And question 5.5, they scored 42%. Now let's look at question 5.4. Describe the translation from f to hx equal to 27 over 3 to the power of x. Now, first of all, we need to write hx in a similar form to fx. So if we have 27, we can write that as 3 to the power of 3. And the denominator 3 to the power of x can be written as 3 to the power of negative x. And since the bases are the same, we can combine this and write it as 3 to the power of 3 minus x. That can be rewritten as 3 to the power of minus x plus 3. And then 3 to the power of 3 minus x can be rewritten as 3 to the power of minus x minus 3. Now let's look at the inside of the bracket. There we have x minus 3. If you subtract 3 from x, it means that the graph was translated 3 units to the right. If you add 3, it means that it's translated 3 units to the left. So if we can describe this translation then from f to h, we will say that f shifted or translated 3 units to the right. Let's look at the mark allocation. You get 1 mark if you've written hx correctly in exponential form, that is 3 to the power of minus bracket x minus 3, then 1 mark if he said it shifted 3 units, and then 1 mark for the direction right. Let's look now at question 5.5. Determine the values of x for which hx is smaller than 1. Now there are 3 possible methods that you can use. Let's look at the first method. hx is 27 over 3 to the power of x. So we can say 27 over 3 to the power of x is smaller than 1. Then we multiply 3 to the power of x to the right, and then 27 is smaller than 3 to the power of x, and this can be rewritten as 3 to the power of x is bigger than 27. 27 can be written as 3 to the power of 3. And now that the bases are the same, we can look at the exponents and then say that x is bigger than 3. Or another method is we can say that 27 over 3 to the power of x is the same as 3 to the power of minus x plus 3. And then we can rewrite the 1 on the right hand side as 3 to the power of 0. The bases are the same and fall away. And then minus x plus 3 is smaller than 0. Minus x is then smaller than negative 3. And then as soon as we divide by a negative, the inequality flips. And then we get the same answer. X is bigger than 3. Lastly, we can do it in the following way. We can look at the original graph f. Now this graph f was smaller than 1 for all x values bigger than 0. That's all the points from A. Now when the graph transformed to the graph H, we said that the graph F shifted 3 units to the right. And that means the point A will also shift 3 units to the right. And now the translated points coordinates will be the coordinates 3 and 1. And therefore, the graph of H will be smaller than 1 for all x values bigger than 3. That's all the x values to the right of the new point 3, 1. And therefore, the solution is x bigger than 3. Let's look at the mark allocation. For the first method, you get 1 mark for the inequality 3 to the power of x bigger than 27, 1 mark for rewriting 27 as 3 to the power of 3, and 1 mark for the final answer, x bigger than 3. For the second method, you get 1 mark for writing 3 to the power of minus x plus 3 smaller than 3 to the power of 0, 1 mark for minus x plus 3 smaller than 0, and 1 mark for the final answer. For the last method, you get 1 mark for the word translation or describing the translation, 1 mark for the y-intercept that shifted 3 units to the right to the point 3, 1, and then 1 mark for the final answer. In question 5.4, a lot of the students said that h was a vertical stretch by a factor of 27. But if the question was read correctly, the question said that the translation had to be described. Translation means a horizontal or a vertical shift. Further, many students rewrote the equation as y equals to 3 to the power of minus x plus 3 and then said that the graph shifted 3 units to the left instead of to the right. Question 5.5 was linked to question 5.4 and a lot of students failed to realize that, so they opted for the algebraic solution to this question and then they made an error of writing x smaller than 3 instead of x bigger than 3. We are now going to look at question 5 of the November 2021 question paper. Students scored an average of 77% for this question. In this question, we are given the function f(x) equals to minus 1 over x minus 3 plus 2. First of all, you need to be able to identify the type of function that's given to us. This is a hyperbola, and the standard form of the hyperbola is fx equal to a over x plus b plus q. In the first question, they ask us to write down the equations of the asymptotes of f. The equations of the asymptotes are given by negative p and q. The vertical asymptote is always x equal to minus p, and the horizontal asymptote is y equal to q. So if we look at this function, p's value is negative 3, so the vertical asymptote's equation will be x equal to positive 3. The reason for that is that this function will be undefined if x minus 3 equals 0. And if you take x minus 3 and you solve the equation, it gives you x equals positive 3. The horizontal asymptote's equation is y equal to q. And in this function, q is equal to positive 2, so the equation will be y equals 2. The mark allocation, you get 1 mark for x equals 3 and 1 mark for y equals 2. Remember that it's not sufficient to just write 3 and 2. You need to write the equations. Question 5.2. Write down the domain of f. Domain is all the x values for which this function is defined. And you can put any x value into this function's equation and it will give you a defined answer except x equals 3. So that means the domain is x elements of real numbers, but x may not be equal to 3. This can also be written as negative infinity to 3, both excluded, so you put round brackets, union, that's a sign for combined with, 3 up to infinity, and both of them also excluded. You can also write this as x smaller than 3 or x bigger than 3. Let's look at the mark allocation. This question counted 1 mark, so you get 1 mark for the correct final answer. Let's look at question 5.3. Determine the coordinates of the x-intercept of f. Now, it's very important to remember that for any function, the x-intercept is where y is equal to 0. So you take the equation of f and you make y equal to 0. And now you are going to solve this equation. You take the positive 2 to the left-hand side and it becomes negative 2. Then you multiply negative 2 by x minus 3. Then you simplify the bracket. It becomes minus 2 times x plus 6 equal to negative 1. You solve the equation and then you get that x is equal to 7 over 2. But this is not the final answer, as you still need to write the x-intercept in coordinate form. So you write x-intercept and the coordinates is then 7 over 2 and 0. Let's look at the mark allocation. This question counted 2 marks, so you get 1 mark if you made y equals 0 in the equation, and then you get 1 mark for the final answer. Let's look at some common mistakes that students made. Now in question 5.1, instead of writing the correct answer of x equals 3 and y equals 2, some students gave the answer as p equals 3 and q equals 2, or they said x not equal to 3 and y not equal to 2. So make sure of that. Then in question 5.2, some students confuse the domain with the range. So remember, domain is all the x values. And then question 5.3, a lot of students were unable to correctly solve the equation minus 1 over x minus 3 plus 2 equal to 0. So make sure to practice that. In question 5.4, students scored an average of 86% and question 5.5 an average of 72%. Let's discuss the questions. Now in question 5.4, we need to write down the coordinates of the y-intercept of f. Y-intercept means x is equal to 0. So now we take the equation of f and we make x 0 in the equation. So this will be then y equal to negative 1 over 0 minus 3 plus 2. And now we need to solve this equation. Negative 1 over negative 3 will give us positive a third plus 2. And if we simplify this, it gives us 7 over 3. Now we need to write it in coordinate form. So as a coordinate, the y-intercept will be 0 and 7 over 3. And remember, not sufficient to just write y equals to 7 over 3. Let's look at the mark allocation. This question counted 2 marks. So you get 1 mark if you made x equals 0 in the equation, and then 1 mark for 7 over 3. Last question, draw the graph of f. Now the value of a in the equation is negative, so that means the graph is going to be in the second and fourth quadrants. Then you need to indicate the asymptotes. So the vertical asymptote is at x equals 3 and the horizontal asymptote at y equals 2, and we use dotted lines. Then, very important, we also need to show the intercepts. So the y-intercept is at 0 and 2, 3, 3, and the x-intercept is at 3, 5 and 0. So you need to clearly indicate that on the graph. Let's look at the mark allocation. You get 1 mark for the correct asymptotes. Then 1 mark if the intercepts with the axis are clearly indicated, and then 1 mark for the shape of the graph if it's drawn in the correct quadrants. At question 5.5, many students were able to sketch the hyperbola having the correct increasing shape, but they failed to label the asymptotes and the intercepts with the axis on their sketch graphs, so they were not awarded marks for the asymptotes and intercepts with the axis because their sketches were not drawn to scale. So make sure to clearly label asymptotes and intercepts. We are now going to look at question 6 of the same question paper, and here they give us a graph of fx equal to log base 4 of x. That is drawn below, and then they give us the point B with coordinates k and 2, and B is a point on the graph of f. For this question, students scored an average of 48%. For question 6.1, learners scored an average of 65%, but for question 6.2, an average of 32%. So let's discuss the questions. In this question, the graph of fx equal to log base 4x is drawn, and they give us the point B with coordinates k and 2 on the graph of f. First question is to calculate the value of k. K is the x-coordinate of the point B, and we know that the y-coordinate is 2. So we put the value of y into the equation. It becomes 2 equals log base 4 of k. Then we need to rewrite this in exponential form. So we have 4 to the power of 2 is equal to k, and then the value of k is 16. The mark allocation is as follows. You get 1 mark for the correct substitution and then 1 mark for the final answer, k equals 60. In the second question, they ask us to determine the values of x for which fx is bigger or equal to -1 and smaller or equal to 2. So what we do is we go and determine the x value when y is equal to -1 and the x value for which y is equal to 2. And then those are the values for which fx is between -1 and 2. So if y is equal to -1, we have -1 equals log base 4 of x, and that means x is equal to 1/4. And in the previous question, we determined that if y is 2, x is equal to 16. So that means that x has to be bigger or equal to 1/4 and smaller or equal to 16. Or you can also write it in interval notation. X is an element of 1/4 up to 16, and you use square brackets since both the 1/4 and the 16 is included. The mark allocation for this question is as follows. You get 1 mark if you determined x equals 1/4, and then you get 1 mark for the final answer. Let's look at some common mistakes. At question 6.1, many students were unable to solve the logarithmic equation correctly because they did not write the equation correctly in exponential form. So please make sure of that. Then in question 6.2, the students did not interpret the question correct. They did not realize that they had to determine an x value when y is equal to -1. And that means that they gave an incorrect answer of x bigger or equal to 0 and smaller or equal to 60. In the next slide, we'll look at questions 6.3 and 6.4. For question 6.3, learners scored an average of 68%, and for question 6.4, 29%. Let's look at the questions. Question 6.3 asks us to write down the equation of f inverse in the form y equals. Now the equation of fx is log base 4 of x. And when you determine the inverse of a function, you reflect the function over the line y equals x. That means you are going to swap the y and the x in the equation of the function. So if y is equal to log base 4 of x, you swap x and y, and then x is log base 4 of y. And now you have to make y the subject of the equation, so we are going to write it in exponential form, and then y is equal to 4 to the power of x. And this is then the inverse of the function f. Let's look at the mark allocation. You get 1 mark for swapping the x and y, and 1 mark for the final answer, y equals 4 to the power of x. Let's now look at question 6.4. This question asks for which values of x will x times f inverse x be smaller than 0. Remember, smaller than 0 means negative. And if you think back to what you've learned in grade 8, you know that a positive times a negative gives you a negative, and a negative times a positive gives you a negative. So for this product to be negative, we have to look at the graph and figure out where will x be negative and f inverse positive, and vice versa, where will x be positive and f inverse negative. So let's look at the graph of f inverse. F inverse is the function y equals 4 to the power of x, and this is always positive. So for the product of x and f inverse to be negative, it means then that since f inverse is always positive, x has to be negative. So if we look at a graph, where are all the x values negative? X values are negative when they are smaller than 0. So the x values for which x times f inverse x is smaller than 0 are all the x values smaller than 0. This answer can also be written as x element of minus infinity to 0, and both round brackets since they are excluded. Let's look at the mark allocation. This counted 2 marks, and you get 2 marks for the answer. Let's look at some common errors that students made. Now at 6.3, many students understood that they had to swap the x and y in order to obtain the inverse of the function f, but once again, they struggled to convert the logarithmic form to exponential form, and that resulted in an incorrect answer in the y form. Then at question 6.4, students could not visualize the answer to question 6.4 because the sketch of the inverse of f was not given, and then they tried to solve the answer algebraically and then got the incorrect answer. Let's look now at question 4.1 from the Sakai 2019 question paper. Here they give us fx equals 3 times 2 to the power of x plus 2 and gx equals to 4 over x minus 3 with x not equal to 3. In this question, we are given two functions. Fx equals 3 times 2 to the power of x plus 2 and gx equals 4 over x minus 3 with x not equal to 3. Now, first of all, we need to be able to identify the functions, and f is an exponential function as x is in the exponent, and g is a hyperbola as x is in the denominator of the fraction. Now, in the first question, they ask us to determine the y-intercepts of the graphs of f and g. And by now, you know that we determine a y-intercept by making x 0 in the equations of the functions. So if we look at function f, y will be equal to 3 times 2 to the power of 0 plus 2, and that gives us an answer of 5. So the y-intercept of f is y equals 5. Then for the function g, if we make y 0, we get y equals to 4 over 0 minus 3. And that gives us 4 over negative 3. So the y-intercept of g is 4 over negative 3. This question counted 3 marks, so you get 1 mark if you made x 0. You get 1 mark for y equals 5, and then you get 1 mark for y equals 4 over negative 3. We are also going to look at question 4.1.3, and it asks us for which values of x is the derivative of x smaller than 0. Now, f is an exponential graph, and if you look at the equation, the sign of 3 is positive, and the exponent x is positive. So this means that this is an increasing function. And with an increasing function, the gradient is always positive. And that means that the derivative will always be positive. So if they ask you for which values of x is the derivative negative, it means for no values of x, since the gradient is always positive. This question counted 1 mark, and you get 1 mark for the answer. Then question 4.1.4. For which values of x is the square root of gx non-real? Now, when is a square root non-real? Square root is non-real when you have a negative under the square root. So we need to determine when will the function gx be negative. So the inequality that we need to solve is 4 over x minus 3 smaller than 0. And this will be negative if x minus 3 is negative. That means x minus 3 should be smaller than 0. And that will happen for x smaller than 3. Let's look at the mark allocation. You get 1 mark for 4 over x minus 3 smaller than 0. And then 1 mark for the answer, x smaller than 3.
And that's a wrap on today's fascinating journey through the world of knowledge. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our ever-growing community of curious minds. We can't wait to embark on new educational adventures together.